Welcome back to another edition of Fly Tying for Beginners. Today we're going to tie the Prince John. The hook I have in a vise is a 2 extra long nymph hook. This is a size 10. I have a 3mm bead on it. I'm going to use a copper brown thread, and this is 140 denier. This is 6/0. We're going to put a base of thread down. We're going to bring it right to the rear. And we're going to keep those wraps tight, holding that thread at a 45-degree angle. We're going to stop it where it would hang at the barb of the hook and get rid of the excess. Now for our tail, I'm going to use tan Goose Biots. I'm going to pick 2 of them. We're going to use the natural curve of the Goose Biot to help us divide them. And we want that tail to be the length of the body. We're going to keep that right on the side. And I'm going to take the second and I'm going to place it on this side. You should be able to just measure from the tag end, because when you pull them off they should be the same length. And we got to make sure that they're both on the sides. Oop. See, the thread has a tendency of pulling them over. I'm going to hold them both. Yeah, there we go. Going to spin my thread counterclockwise to flatten it out. With this heavy thread you can do this easily. And you'll get a much nicer tie down. No need to trim any off. And we're going to bring the thread right up to the bead. Now I'm going to take a gold copper wire and a darker copper wire. I'm going to tie them in with the dark color on the bottom. I'm going to take the wires and I'm going to put them right inside that bead head. And I want to keep them on the side of the shank. And when we wrap these, we want to make sure that they're tight together, or you'll get a separation when you start to wrap them. And I'm pausing to flatten out my thread. This way, if you have a nice flat base, then if you get a little bit of space between your wire, it's not going to look bad. We're going to bring them right down to the tail, and then we're going to take them forward once again. Together, make sure they're tight together. Oop, you can see it came apart. You want to keep them nice together. Oh, don't want to turn that tail. There we go. This takes a little bit of practice. to keep them together. I'm just going to rotate my thread. And when I get up to the thorax, I'm going to tie them off. Now we can take our wire and just helicopter it off. This is a 26 gauge wire. And you can use different size wire for the different size hooks. Now I'm going to take some mahogany brown crystal dub. You don't want to use too much, we just want to make a thorax here. Make it pretty skinny. And we're going to wrap this. And you want to keep a space between the bead head and the thorax. I'm going to take my piece of Velcro and I'm going to rough up the bottom a little bit. Pull out any of the real long ones. I'm going to take a medium to dark. This is a medium. You could use a dark ginger. And we're going to tie that in. And we're going to wrap that hackle. And that looks pretty good with about 3 wraps. I'm going to secure that. Wrap in front of it. And we can remove that excess. I'm going to pull all of the hackle back and I'm going to come back on it. And I just want to send the hackles to the rearward position. There we go. I'm going to divide them there just a little bit. And I'm going to trim off a couple from the top. Now we're going to take 2 white Goose Biots. And we're going to tie these in a crisscross. I'm going to make them the length of the body. I'm going to tie them in a crisscross. I'm going to go from my side up front to the far side in the back on the first. And the opposite on the second, and we're going to use that natural curve once again. There we go, just pull them to even lengths, hold them tight. Secure them towards the hackle, so that way you'll have plenty to be able to trim off. Again, lift them up and put a couple of wraps right in front. Trim them off completely. Now I'm just going to take a very small amount of the Mahogany Krystal dub. We want just enough to be able to hide some of that thread. We don't have to hide it all. There we go. I'm going to take my whip finisher. And here we have a Prince John. Hope that you learned something from this video. Hope you would subscribe to my channel. Please refer me to your friends. Leave comments, questions, suggestions. And most of all, thank you very much for watching my videos.